This is video 4 of the D1x system. Hopefully this is the last in the series. I'm showing you how I have actually gone out to the shop. I've put it up on rollers. I'm setting it up through the app and making sure that all the little details are dialed in and trying it out. So that's where we are now. So I'm out in the shop continuing the testing of the D1x. Today I have it set up on rollers. I have the Velomobile set up on rollers. I'm trying to get my GoPro camera set up so I can actually see the gears back there and figure out what's going on. And trying to get my camera to connect to the app. It doesn't want to connect for some reason. But so that way I can sit in the cockpit, I can look at the gears and see which way I need to adjust them. So my hope is to be able to use my GoPro and my tablet so I can see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the app for the D1x. That's and that app is on my phone, I believe. Okay, so I've got the GoPro so I can see the gears as they're changing. I can see what's going on and see which way I need to adjust the Archer Systems shifter. Hopefully that will work, because I'm just going to need to do some tiny adjustments, because when I was riding in a couple of the gears it seemed to be it kind of seemed to be grinding a little bit, so like it wasn't quite lined up the way it needed to be. And so I'm actually looking at the Archer app now. So it's been sitting for months and you can see both batteries are still charged up. I've only charged them one time since initially receiving these. It's been quite a while. It's now November and I've only charged the batteries up once. I've only ridden the Velo maybe twice since getting the system, just because I'm gonna say just because 2020. It's been one thing after another. Of course, I've been doing a lot of work on the farm too, so you can check that out at the farm channel. But I'm gonna reset the configuration today, and I'm gonna see if these rollers that I got from Corey will be of benefit. So I've got the parking brake set so I can see what's going on. I have a lot of things here. Alright, so that gear's fine. That gear seems to be fine. That's the one that doesn't want to shift. It takes a little bit, but it finally shifted. Again, this one doesn't really want to shift. I'm adjusting the gears up and down, and then I can set, there's a little tiny adjustment that I can set here. You can see those numbers changing. Okay, so that's how you do that on the Archer app. I'm glad I had the rollers. It really didn't take that long. The good thing is now I have the new configuration set up, and hopefully after what's left of Hurricane Eta passes through, I can take it out on the road and try it again. But now I know how easy it is to adjust. I just open up the Archer app and I can hit the one that says the update to configuration, and then save that configuration. Once I'm done, once it's running smoothly, then I can do that. And I also see how easy it is to change it. It's actually pretty easy. I can't use the shifter that's in here right now because I'm on the app, so I'm going to disconnect and ride. Now I talked to the guy that was working with me on these, and he said that Archer would allow me to go ahead and keep the system. So this is where I mounted the shifter, and when I'm riding, if you look, it's really designed to be a thumb shifter, back and forth. So I have to move my hand all the way out here when I'm doing this, and it makes it to where I basically take my hand off of the tiller to shift gears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition this thumb piece over here, and hopefully it's got some settings, some different configurations to where I can change it and move it over here so it's in a more permanent position, and we will see how that goes. So basically the guys at Archer have allowed me to keep it for an extended period of time. I still don't know if I'm completely sold on the system. Some of the guys I ride with are sold on them because as they age, their hands get weaker and they can grab this tiller, but it's hard for them to do the shifting, especially on a twist shifter or something like that. And they said with this, it's just the touch of a button and you can shift, and that makes it really nice. And so that's what I'm going to look into. So now that I've figured out how to configure it, how to turn it on, how to set it up. Okay, so at this point, I have to just reconfigure where I have the shifter sitting. That's just a couple of Allen bolts to see, to move it around, to get it in a better position. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to continue to test it a little bit while I have the rollers and while I have it set up on the GoPro camera filming back there, and I'm going to test out the actual shifter itself to see where it is and to see to make sure everything's lined up from the shifter. Alright, so turn off the remote shifter again, and I will shift it with the app. Because it shifts down really well. Okay, once again, reconfigured with the app. Now I'll turn the shifter on and I'll try it and see how it works with the shifter. Okay, I'm satisfied. That seems to work much better. I think I'm finally going to wrap up the series. It has taken me forever to get this series done, and like I said, some of that is just because 2020. That is it for the Archer D1x. I'm going to continue to test it as I get some more rides in, especially now that it's into the fall and into the cooler months. It's easier to ride the Velomobile. It's just so hot in the summertime, and so it was just timing on getting the D1x that, in fact, I didn't even expect to get it. So I will go ahead and reconfigure the shifter so I can make it more comfortable, at least for me, when I'm riding, and I will ride some more with this before I give my final thoughts on it. Because my initial thoughts were, I don't need this shifter because my manual cable shifter works just fine. But I may be converting. I took the plunge and installed the shifter on the tiller in a more permanent way, and I removed my manual cable, my manual shifter cable. I still have it because in the long run I still don't know if I'm going to keep the system, but I'm going to try it out. And now I reconfigured some of the handlebar, and I can show you what I did. Alright, so this should give you a little bit better view of what I did. So initially I had it set up on the right side. And that would have been standard for a right side shifter because it was where my thumb was going to be and things like that. But I didn't want to take all of my grip off. I didn't want to take the original manual shifter, which was a lever shifter that went right here. I didn't want to take it off because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep the system. So what I've done is I've taken off all the grips, and then I took off the manual shifter, and I put this shifter, this is the transmitter for the shifter, I put it here. And as you can see, this is kind of where I would ride, and the ends of the handlebars are right here, and this is kind of where I would ride in a normal configuration. And I can easily hit the buttons with either thumb with it mounted in this position, mounted in the middle. So if I'm doing something with my left hand, I'm messing with my GPS or doing something over here, lights or things like that, I can still shift. The cool thing is now that if I go over here and I'm getting something like my water bottle or something like that, I can still shift with this hand. It's a little more awkward because it favors the right side more, but I can still shift if I need to, if something happens and I for some reason I'm not using my right hand to shift. So I've set the buttons up in the middle. They're not perfect. It still would be nice if it were angled a little bit more, but because of the way that the angle of the tiller is on the handlebars, it sits a little bit with the outside button facing up. But I think that it's going to be something that I can use both of the buttons pretty easily, and I can get to them, and I don't have the other shifter in the way, so I can easily reach up and grab the brakes if I need to. So this is a setup that I maybe will try for a while. That's about as close as I can get it because of the welds. Yeah, that's as far up and as far over to the right as I can get it, even though it's mounted on the left side of the handlebar. I think that's going to be worth trying. Yeah, I think that'll work out. We'll see how that works. Alright, so that's it for this little update. When I get out riding and testing it in a ride, I'll see how it works, see if I like it. So that's it for now. Alright, thanks for watching. Until next time, cheers.